I'm very glad to have you here. Thank you.
First of all, before I start my presentation, I want to thank IPMA for this research award. This is a great honor and privilege, and I thank you very much for this recognition. I want to talk about the topic of the award, project benefit management. What has triggered this research area, what has been done so far, and maybe a bit about future research and further development for those of you who are interested in this topic and want to do some research on project benefit management. I think this is a very interesting, still emerging research topic. Some work has been done, but there is still work to be done, and we are definitely going to do some of this, but this will be a great opportunity for everyone who is interested in this area to do some more. So let's start maybe with what has triggered this, maybe we can call it an extension to the project management research, to look also on the benefit side of projects. So research on project benefit management started more than 20 years ago now, and the first steps were to identify that there is something bigger than just delivering the outputs of projects. One good example for this is the book of Aaron Shenhar and of Dvir, who looked at a more broader view of project management. And in one of the examples, they took the Los Angeles subway project to show that even projects that are completed as we were told to do, efficiently, on time, on budget, with all the most appropriate project management tools and techniques, doesn't necessarily mean that this project would become a success. In this particular case study, the project was completed on time according to the safety regulations and achieved the short-term goals, if you like, but it was not utilized by residents of the LA area, and as a result, extensions and future projects were cancelled. And this shows that although the project has achieved a short-term objective, not necessarily it achieved the long-term benefits to the organizations that decided to fund, to invest money in this project. In our book, we've noticed a similar example, an Australian project, the Sydney Cross City Tunnel, which is very similar in many terms. In this project, the objective was to reduce traffic flow in the CBD of Sydney. What they did is build some tunnels for vehicles to use instead of driving on the surface of the CBD. Again, this project was very efficient, completed on time and budget. The tunnels look excellent and very convenient to drive in, and they're really fun because you drive alone. There are not too many people that drive with you. The actual number of people that use this toll tunnels is actually only a third of what has been expected. So this means that although the project was efficiently delivered, the outputs, the tunnels, still it didn't deliver the benefits to the funding organization, to the local government that invested money in the project. It didn't deliver the benefits to the company that actually built the tunnels, and they went broke, because not enough people used the tunnels and pays the fees to ride. So in this case, again, the long-term objectives have not been met, although outputs have been delivered as we were told to do according to the Iron Triangle, for example.
Is that the project where they should have charged people to use the roads and put them through the tunnel for nothing? Is that where?
Maybe they should have, yeah.
No. if you do that, then everybody uses the tunnel, which is what you want. But because
that's the government benefit.
because the roads and the tunnel are not financially linked, but
No, exactly, yeah.
they're socially and transport linked, but they just weren't financially linked. So.
Yeah, and this is exactly the strategic view that we would like to see more in a project. It's important to do the construction elements of a project to build good tunnels and roads and buildings, but the strategic view that can make the difference between success and failure is very important, and I hope that this is one of the development where project management is going towards, and this is a good example of such. Yeah. All right. So now there's an interesting question that has been discussed in the literature about who should do that. Who should be accountable for delivering benefits? And we know that the project managers are experts in delivering outputs, deliverables, to build a tunnel, a building, an information system, and so on. This is what project managers do. They know how to make things happen and do it efficiently. And they know how to do it and meeting the iron triangle, completing projects on time, on budget, according to specification. It doesn't always work as we expect. There are all kinds of things that happen throughout the project, but this is what project management methodology gives us the tools to do, and we have good tools to do that. But as we saw in the examples, even if you have delivered these outputs efficiently according to the iron triangle, it doesn't necessarily guarantee the target benefits have been set. And we know that we have those issues of target benefits from project not being delivered. This is one example from the UK government that states that in many cases benefits are not delivered fully, or they're not delivered at all at the end of the project, but we have more literature that supports these kinds of issues. So we have a problem of delivering benefits in the real life, and obviously the impact of projects on the organizations that do the project, on the organizations that invest in the project. So what we are looking here is a different view of a project in which projects are investment. Someone puts in money, takes the risk in order to get some benefits in the future. So we put in the resources, the funding for the project now, during project implementation, project execution, and expect benefits in the long term. This can be financial benefits if you're a private company that you want to develop, for example, a new product that will sell and increase our profit for the long term. And this will be a flow of revenue coming into the company. Or non-monetary benefits if you're a government that builds a tunnel in order to reduce traffic flow or do some health or education project for non-monetary project. This is still an investment that we want to achieve some outcomes later on down the road. These outcomes will be the target benefits that we define at the start of the project and would like to have at the end of the project. But in order to get there, to deliver these benefits, to realize the benefits, we need to manage them. And this is the importance of project benefit management rather than the realization of them. We want to get them being realized, but we need to develop a management process, as we have with project management process, that will be led by someone in the organization, that we will be able to provide the tools and techniques for people to do these benefit management activities throughout the project life cycle. So who should do that? Just recently, the Project Management Institute have produced a very interesting and important report, the PULSE report, which focuses in 2016 on benefit management, and it was delivered in 4 different issues. One of the issues that they have target PMI, they surveyed people in organization and asked them who should be doing all these benefit management issues that we are really interested in want to happen in organization. And as you can see here, there are all kinds of answers from coming from project managers should be responsible for that, up to this should be the senior manager, the executive sponsor, business owner, PMO staff, PMO director, others. We don't really know. There is lots of confusion. We want this to be done. We know that benefit management is important, but we don't really know, and people are not sure who should run this process. One of the quotes from one of the participants in this survey is very interesting. She said, "I think benefits management is so hard to codify because project managers don't really know if it falls to them or to the senior managers or operational teams or someone else, so it disappears through the cracks and it isn't given the attention it deserves." And I think this is an actual issue and problem. So one of the activities that we have done is to think and consider who should lead this process, who should be accountable for benefit management in projects. One of the first conclusions was that the project manager is not the appropriate person to be the leader, the accountable. Obviously, the project manager should be an important part of the benefit management process, but not the one who is accountable to realize these benefits in the long term, from several reasons. One, the project manager is an expert, the man to run things, to make things happen, to deliver outputs, but not so much in the strategic view. Project managers are not necessarily the strategic leaders in the organizations. There are those people that know how to lead teams, to develop new, complicated artifacts, and that's what they do best and should lead the output development process. The project manager, if they come from a different company, from the company that invests money in the project, the funding entity, they may have different objectives from the project. They signed a contract to deliver an output on time, on budget, and they will be judged and get their bonuses based on whether they have completed the project on time or not. There can be a conflict of interest if someone asks them to think of the long term and try to increase more, maybe add more functionality to the project that will be at the expense of completing the project on time, and as a result they will reduce their chance of achieving this bonus and so on. The project manager is usually appointed after the very important aspect of benefit setting is being done. This is done by the funding entity while developing the business case. The project manager has not been identified at this stage in many cases. The project manager will become an important role in the project only after the business case has been approved, a contract has been signed with a contractor, for example, to run this project. So you can't expect a project manager to lead a benefit realization, benefit management process that they have not been included, leading from the start. And finally, in many cases, the project manager is a temporary position that ends when the deliverables have been, the outputs have been delivered, and benefits will be realized maybe in the long term. It takes sometimes weeks, months, sometimes years for benefits to be realized. There should be some activities and leadership happening after the project has been completed to ensure that these benefits not only realized, are also secured. We know that we will keep on getting the flow of benefits in the long term. The project manager is no longer there in many cases. The project manager moves on to do the next project, and we need someone to continue this process. So here in this diagram we can actually summarize this view that the project manager is a center person for planning and execution activities as part of the project. This is what project managers know how to do, and they do it best. But the project cycle starts much earlier, before the project manager joins the party, during the initiation stage, where the business case is being developed, when the benefits are being set, decided, and obviously the project manager leaves the project in many cases after execution, when outputs have been delivered, but we still need to do some activities, what we call outcome realization, to realize the benefits. For example, let's take a government project in which they build a bridge next to a school in order to reduce the risk for accidents of the kids going to school. The project manager will be an excellent person to build a bridge. A construction company that know exactly how to build bridges, and that's what they are going to do excellent. But in order to achieve the goals of the project, the target benefits of the project, which are to reduce number of accidents, to reduce risks, it doesn't necessarily mean that having the bridge up there is enough. If the kids going to school do not cross the bridge because they come with bikes, scooters to school, and it's not very convenient to use the bridge, they would prefer to go the old way and cross the bridge as they used to do before the project started. And if this happens, then we will not be able to reduce the number of accidents in any way. We need to do some further activities of implementation. Parents, teachers to stand next to the bridge for the first few weeks after the project has been completed, after the bridge has been opened, and encourage the students to use the bridge. We may need to develop some training program to teach the kids about the importance of crossing the road, using the bridge, and so on. So those activities would take more time than the completion, the delivery of the outputs. Those activities must be led not necessarily by a construction company, but more importantly by the local government, the education department, or by the schools themselves who develop this program, these training programs, and work with the kids and with the parents and with the community in order to achieve those target benefits. The project manager, who is a construction project manager in this case, may not necessarily be the right person to do that. We offer the role of the project owner, as we have been identified in other research and models, including Prince 2 with a similar definition, to lead this process. The project owner would not come from the performing organization, from the construction company that builds the bridge. They would come from the funding entity, for example, from the local government, the Department of Education, or from the schools that are nearby this bridge. These people the project owner would be a senior manager from this organization and will be able to run and lead this activity. This will obviously have some impact on, for example, the governance model of a project. In this case, we have the project funder who makes the decision to fund the project, to put in the money to build the bridge, for example, in order to get those benefits into the future, to reduce the number of accidents on this road. During the project, we will have two major entities. One, the project owner, which would chair the steering committee. This person would be the one accountable for realizing target benefits. And the project manager with their team will be the entity that delivers the output. Obviously, these two entities must work together in order to achieve those goals. This view has also implications on how we measure project success. So one dimension of project success the iron triangle, for example, we know for a long time now that is insufficient. It looks on some very important elements of project performance, but it mainly measures the success, the performance of the project manager, whether they have been able to deliver this output on time, budget, and according to specification, which is very important when you measure the work of the project manager. But once we have identified another player, the project owner, we want to be able to measure their performance in projects. Their role is very simple: to make sure that the business case that has been discussed at the start of the project is being delivered, including all the benefits that have been discussed there, including the long-term cost that we expect from this project to deliver. So this gives rise to another success measure of project ownership success, how we measure the performance of the project owner, this senior manager in the funding entity and what they do. And finally, we want to look at the success of the investment overall. And this, the funding organization, the shareholders, would like to know, what have we received for investing this amount of money in the project? Everyone knows how much money has been spent on the project, but what have we received in return? In monetary or non-monetary values, but we should be able to measure it and to be able to report and judge the organization that has decided on the project based on the results from this project. So we have a three-dimensional project performance metrics here. And finally, one further implication of benefit management is research that we have done on defining target benefits. Target benefits are those that have been set at the start of the project. These are the targets that we want to achieve once the project has been completed. But it's important to set high quality goals and high quality target benefit. This is a measure that we call quality of target benefits. It relates to goal setting theory, which suggests that the better the goals are set, the better the outcomes, the performance is at the end of any activities. In particular in projects, the better quality that we have set the goals, the target benefits of a project, it will increase not only the success, the performance of the project, but it will also improve decision making by companies whether to approve a project proposal or not, if we have strong, effective goals, target benefits set to project at the start of the project. So what we've done here is we looked at a scale that captures different dimensions coming from goal setting theory, SMART goals, and other aspects that we know what goals should be look like in general, but we found that in the project context there are some other elements that are important in addition to a traditional goal setting theory. This includes, for example, the accountability, which plays very important role, and comprehensiveness of goals that were added into this element. So we have here a list of elements, of characteristics of high quality target benefits. They should be measurable, they should have someone accountable for them, we should have a date by when we need to achieve these benefits, and so on. Better goal definition, better target benefits can contribute to better decision making, better resource allocation in project, and eventually achieving better in a project. So this is some of the work that we have done so far, but there's still a lot of work to be done in the area of project benefit management. It's an area that requires tools and techniques like we have in other areas of project management, and there is still lots of work to be done on these elements for other stages of the project life cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you.